Do you want to win cash? Do you want to seek glory as an MTG player? Well, do I have a story for you? Hello and welcome to Cindershadow Gaming. I'm your host Cindershadow, and today I'm bringing you a pretty interesting story that I've uncovered. I've spent the last couple hours trying to research what's going on here because a lot of it raised a lot of red flags, and it's about tournaments, it's about prize money, it's about scams, fraud, absolutely insanity when it comes to playing Magic the Gathering. So this is probably going to be a long video, so do sit back, relax, and let me lay it all out for you guys, because this is a very spicy and insanity of flurry of stuff that has really gone down. Okay, well, I'm browsing Twitter this morning. First thing in the morning, I'm like, yada yada yada, what's going on? I follow a couple topics on Twitter, and one of them happens to be Magic the Gathering, and something comes across my Twitter feed, and I had to read it and go, what is going on here? Why is there something that doesn't seem to add up? And there's a statement from Tier 1 Games towards Insight Esports. I'm like, I think I recognize this Insight Esports person. I've seen the stuff around. I think I know, going through MTG Melee, I have seen them time and time again. And it seems that there was a tournament organizer running out of a LGS in where was that, Terramac or something like that in the States. They're running all these tournaments, and it goes through MTG Melee. Now, through the WPN, I have ascertained that you can run a tournament with the entry fee being a maximum of $25, and then you can run these tournaments, and it actually can pay cash prizes. This I didn't know that was allowed. I didn't know you could turn around and actually pay out cash prizes for Magic the Gathering tournaments. So this is probably more of a lessons learned and what's going on here with this stuff. Anyway, hi, my name is Damon. I am the owner-operator of Tier 1 Games. I've been in the industry for over 25 years, either through business, judging, competing. I love the game and the community, and I've worked hard to build my brand for what I stand for. I do not condone what David, Inside Esports, did, how we handled it, or the fact that he lied or withheld information from myself and you, the players. For the last 2 months, since I learned of his back pay owed to the players, I have tried to stay in open communications with David to know the progress of the monies he owes the players. So, what has happened here? I'm just going to jump forward here a little bit. What has happened here is there has been a giant list of tournaments. Actually, I believe it's 110 tournaments, all of which were organized with MTG Melee, right? There's some big names on these winners on here. There's a few that I recognize, like Michael Gabsby, Martis Olivero, I believe might be a pro. Gabriel Nasviv, I believe, is a pro. I even saw Jim Davis on here in a list somewhere on there. Let's just go through this really quick. So there is some pros that I've seen their names show up on this list, and it seems that things are not that good on what's going on here. I think there's something shady that has happened here, and we're going to dive into it because I don't entirely believe it's completely the fault of them, but at the same time, it really is the big fault of them. Like, I don't recognize all the pros, but like I said, I did find Jim Davis. I believe he was tournament 19 I was in or something like that, where I did find that. Let's see if I can find it here really quick, just to give you guys, here we go. Jim Davis, tournament 57, Inside Esports presents Tier 1 Games 5000 Modern Open. Once again, you got Gabriel Nasviv, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your guys' names. Who else is in there? Jim Davis is there. Mario Satso, I believe, is one. Martin Dominguez, I believe, was one. I think there's a couple here that are pros. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure a few of these names are higher level players when it comes down to Magic the Gathering. So what is this big list? Where was it? Jeff Hoogland is on here. Jeff Hoogland played in one of these tournaments straight through and through. And Jim Davis again. There's a lot in here. Carl Strapp, that we'll get into that. That name is important. Sandy Dog MTG is also someone that I've seen a lot of references in stuff while researching up on this. So there is a lot of names here. Maltaz Leverado, I believe, is another pro. I think this is how little I know of the pro scene. I recognize names sort of now, but like Jeff Hoogland, I know for a fact. Luis Savato, I also know for a fact is also a pro, and that was tournament 46. Now, what is going on here is this has been compiled by Michael Gausby. He compiled this big list of what's going on here, and this was back on August 26th, and it shows that this bookkeeping from Inside Esports has been not really tampered with, but stuff going on. So let's look into the Inside Esports stuff that's going on here. He did a twit longer. This was back on August 26th. So the Tier 1 Games one was from October 3rd, I believe, or 4th, and this is from Insight Games. Actually, I believe the Tier 1 Games might actually be from today. Yeah, no, yesterday. It's from yesterday, the Tier 1 Games statement. The Inside Esports, please read. Hello, I wanted to make a statement clear to clear up a few things. There has been an incredible amount of misinformation going around my business and other businesses as well. This statement is intended to clear up any confusion. We do not have sponsorship with Chipotle, Razer, Tier 1 Games, MTG Melee, or any other company. I apologize for any confusion that my statements I have said have caused. These businesses are not involved with Inside Esports and are not responsible for any ongoing situation. It has been brought to my attention that players are angered towards other businesses besides my own. This is not right. Everything that has transpired is the responsibility of myself and Inside Esports alone. I take full responsibility for the obligations we have here. Every player is currently owed is being paid by me, not anyone else. Move this up so you guys can read along. Please do not harass, threaten, bully, or attempt to hold any other businesses responsible for the actions that they are not involved with. I alone am making sure all of these obligations are fulfilled. I apologize to everyone for the confusion and anger this whole situation has caused. I sincerely hope one day you will all can forgive me for this mess. David Davila from Inside Esports app is how it is signed there at the bottom. So I after diving into this a little bit, I had to read more. I'm sitting here going, there is so much going on with this situation that I've had to read more, and a lot of it comes down to this spreadsheet. I'm going to shrink this one side a little bit and pull this over. Hopefully this works. There we go. So we're just going to scroll over here, and there's a nice nifty paid and not paid scenario here. So the first tournament, 2 guys are confirmed paid. The ones that aren't highlighted are ones that have not been able to be verified if they have been paid or not paid. There has been no response to Michael Gadsby that has put this document together. This document shows 110 tournaments from January 9th to July 31st of 2021. This shows how many tournaments have happened, and each and every one of these tournaments has had a cash prize award. If I shrink this down, maybe we can get the full details here for you guys. There we go. This will give a little bit more details for you. So, Inside Esports and Chipotle presents Burrito Brawl. So this one in particular, it looks like it was the top 8 were paid. $200 for the top prize and $25 to the bottom prize. That's fine. A couple guys got paid. This is the first couple tournaments. They look to be where things are great. Now we get down to tournament 9. We have tier 1. This is tier 1 games, IQ number 5. Apparently Chase Masters is owed $50 for placing 4th in this tournament. I don't know if that's been confirmed or denied, but this is what's come together. Now we have a tier 1 $5,000 standard open. That's a big number. $5,000 is the maximum allowed prize pool from Wizards of the Coast through WPN rules. And this is through Tier 1 Games. Tier 1 Games is signed on with this tournament, saying that they're supporting this tournament. They are the ones that are doing this tournament. Now, the bigger thing on this is in the statement that we have from Tier 1 Games saying they were involved with it. The involvement was with Insight Esports. Our involvement with Insight Esports was as the sanctioning store. So the WPN location that was dealing with this. Something that they needed that was required by Wizards of the Coast. And this is through the WPN rules and tournament organizer rules. Now, I don't believe that is really the case. You can turn around and hold a tournament and just not put it on the books, right? This is a nice way with MTG Melee and Wizards of the Coast being involved, meaning in that sense, it is sanctioned. It is sponsored by Wizards of the Coast. They have put their name on it through the WPN stuff. And if Wizards of the Coast is putting their name on it, that means you have to follow WPN rules. You have to follow the list of guidelines straight through and through from the WPN. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. Wizards of the Coast is involved in here, and this is going to completely blow up from this point forward. This is a complete meltdown of what has happened with this misappropriation of funds where people are not being paid money owed. When David approached me, we wanted to run online events. It sounded like a great idea since in-store events were not allowed in a lot of states. So with COVID, all the gaming went online, so they're doing through MTG Melee and making it forward. Tier 1 Games received 5% of the funds collected as per our contract for being the sanctioning store. This came out to $2,363.34. We also agreed that we would set up an account that collected the funds, and once a week, I would send all monies received from the prior work minus the 5% to Inside Esports for prize fund distribution. This goes through MTG Melee. MTG Melee doesn't actually award the prizing. They just set up the tournaments. They are literally a site that just lets you use much like the event link, and then you can turn around and run the thing. They also do pairings and matchings and everything like that. So it is a very handy tool to your disposal as a tournament organizer. And if you want to do that, we went through this during my Extra Life tournament that I did, where I did place 11th in that tournament, and my prize payout for that was $1,750 that went to the Stollery kids through Extra Life for playing in that tournament. It was a big deal. It was a very big deal to me, the channel, and overall this year we're just shy of $4,000 raised for the Stolleries. So do keep that mentioned, because I do have an event coming up for that very soon. So he's sending the money once a week, and as you can see, there is 110 tournaments overall. These tournaments were being held every couple days. So the prize money was being collected by Tier 1 Games, and then it was paid, and then it was shown through MTG Melee, but MTG Melee doesn't actually gather the money in this case, where Tier 1 Games did. So there's a lot going on there with this statement as well. Now, since our involvement, we have collected a total $49,822.26 from entries. That is a massive amount of money. That is a giant amount of money, and it needs to be on the record that that's a lot of money in trust to one store. This was a total collected after processing fees minus our 5%, a totaling of $47,458.92 was sent to Insight Esports for prizing. This is a total amount that was collected minus about another $2,300 to $2,500. I'm guessing that was Melee's percentage for being the platform for which these events could be run through. Now, that is not entirely true from my understanding. I could be wrong on that, but MTG Melee takes a cut of off the top, or adding onto the onto the entry fee. A couple tournaments here I'm looking at was a $15 entry fee, and then MTG Melee put a surcharge of $1.76 on that. Now, I don't know how this works with the WPN rules, because the WPN rules say that a entry fee maximum can be $25, and there is a couple tournaments where it was $25, and then MTG Melee also charged another $2 on top of that, which would technically exceed the WPN rules of a maximum fee of $25. I don't know how that actually works, because I don't run these tournaments, and that's not something I do, and I don't have the full legal disclosure on that type of thing. Remember, I am not a lawyer. I am just a internet YouTuber that's just reporting on this situation with my own personal opinions that are going to be in on this probably closer to the end. Approximately $45,000 should have been dispersed by Insight Esports from funds collected to the players' prize supports. All events ran total a prize pool of $108,775, which is sourced by Michael Gatsby. And I've been able to verify most of this going through this list that's here. And if I scroll all the way to the bottom here, bottom of this list, that's the total. So this is a simple spreadsheet. You simply total it up, and that's the total that you get there. And you can see here in a lot of these later tournaments, these are people that are still owed money. These are people that they've never received their money, and I don't think they ever will, because honestly, from what I'm seeing here, the money is not there. The money is non-existent. Prize support was greater than the funds collected of these events. They're saying it's not that it was a Ponzi scheme or a pyramid scheme, which I don't believe personally. From reading this, I believe that there was more money being taken out than money coming in, and someone is in the hole for money that was promised in this situation. In the end, I believe David's original intentions were good, and that he set out to do something great, and did not have the proper financial backing to cover his shortcomings from events he ran. I'm going to get into that. Now, the last statement here from Tier 1 Games. These last 2 months have put a lot of stress on myself and my family. I know a lot of people are hurt and angry by what Insight Esports did. Please do not judge who I am and what I stand for based on the mistakes of David and Insight Esports failures. I'm a big believer in building communities, which is why I agreed to be the sanctioning store. In the end, I gave too much faith in someone who thought was honest about what he was doing and how things were going. If he owes you money, stay in contact with him. Do not give up. Thank you. So, this final statement is saying that Tier 1 Games is trying to dust their hands and say they're done. That is not the case. You were the sanctioning store. Your name is all over these tournaments. You are part and parcel of this, and there is enough money that is owed here. This could go to a class action lawsuit, and Wizards of the Coast has their name on this. Your WPN status will be revoked from this. I can tell you right now, the second Wizards of the Coast understands what is going on here. Tier 1 Games needs to step up right now, and actually, if they haven't lawyered up, they need to be, because this is going to get very ugly for them, and I have nothing to do with this. I am just telling you my personal opinion. And when this amount of money is now stacked up in against you, it's going to come down like a ton of bricks. There is a lot of issues that I personally see with all of what is going on with this scenario. Now, Inside Esports, they've been a tournament organizer since January of this year. They've got many tournaments that they have done. I'm going to bring in the list of tournaments here for you guys, and we can just take a quick look at these tournaments that are there. And this is the organizing view from Insight Esports. Now, they list Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Discord, and YouTube. So there's a whole list of things here. We'll kind of get into that. And it shows that they're offline. We go down here, and I'm just going to cycle this by date. So the last tournament was done on July 31st, and this was Inside Esports Presents Tier 1 Summer Series $5,000 Invitational. This was an invitational tournament that Tier 1 Games, Tier 1 having their name on this, showing that they're the sponsored store. So he is sponsored by them, even though the statements from him saying he's not. They're the sanctioning store. These type of things, in the eyes of Wizards of the Coast, in the eyes of the law, is stating that you're going to be sponsored by them. Prize pool, $2,000 USD to the top person. This was an invitational. It was free to play because it was an invitational. There was only 76 people that went in there, and they paid up to the top 16 in a cash prize value. That's $5,000 paid out. Now, if I go to this last tournament on the list here, how many people were paid out? Oh, the red means they haven't been paid. This is a lot of people that have not been paid, and I would guess none of them have been, right? So there's a big deal here on what's going on. Michael Gabsby is another person that's part of all of this. Carl Strapp is another person that's been there. Laverato is another person there. So Carl on Twitter has actually put out a thing. If you were scammed by Inside Esports and Tier 1 Games, please remember to let Channel Fireball know about the experience. Apparently, with the Channel Fireball launch of their new stores, that's also out there. So there's a lot of things that are going on here that just doesn't add up. Going back into some of these tournaments, a couple of them were paid. You've got, I believe this one here is the Tier 1. Yeah, here we go. Inside Esports presents Tier 1 $5,000 Historic Open. So this is done through MTG Arena again. We're hosting an Historic Open this Saturday featuring a $5,000 prize pool. Bring your best new decks. Entry fee is $25 plus $261. And this is where I'm like, they've done the maximum amount that they're allowed to charge at $25, but now MTG Melee is also taking a $261, meaning that entry fee is $27.61, which is up and above what is allowed by the WPN rules because they have a maximum cap limit of $25. The maximum cap limit through the WPN rules also is $5,000 that you can do here. If I can find those rules really quick. I do have a list of them. Here we go. So this is the WPN rules. This was put out from the WPN on March 26, 2020. So general tournament and event guidelines. Tournaments may have a maximum entry fee of $25 USD. So right there, the tournament is up and above what it is because now, like I said, it was $27.61 was the maximum, was the entry fee, which is up and over the maximum. You would have to minus off the top for the MTG Melee for that difference. The biggest statement is right here. You are responsible for prize pools and that they are paid out in a timely manner. This last tournament was July 31st. That timely manner has come and gone. We're in October. We're 3 months out. Like it's or 2 months out, really, because it was the end of July. To me, that's not a timely manner. That I would think within a week. The maximum value of prizes, cash or otherwise, is $5,000 unless you have written permission from Wizards of the Coast. Please note that the $5,000 limit applies to all payments made to participating, including for prize monies, fees, reimbursements, salaries, travel, accommodation, whether paid in cash, physical prizes, or otherwise. You are solely responsible for your tournament, which include complying with all entry fee and prize payment requirements for your locale. So if your tournament is charity, yada yada yada, yeah, there's so many more things here with that. So that was probably the biggest excerpt from the WPN that this was listed, and this was updated July 22nd of 2020. So these rules have been built up and they've been there for a while. So they're keeping under the maximum or at the maximum of $5,000, which is fine. Once again, this was $25 and $261. They had 63 people enter. The prize pool, based on 100 players or more, first place would have gotten $1,250. There was 63 players, so based on 80 players or more, prize pool should have been $800. Prize pool, 60 players or more, so prize pool actually should have been $500 to first place, is what's there. Now, listed in the inside, in this list, which tournament is this? This is July 24th. So if I scroll up here to July 24th, Inside Esports presents Historic Qualifier. July 24th. Oh, wait, here it is. Inside Esports presents Tier 1 $5,000 Historic Open. So $500, so they do have it listed as correct here. $500 going down to $30 at the bottom. So this does add up to what was paid out. So it wasn't $5,000 paid out, but at the same time, the little bit of money that was collected there, this was not paid out. So if I was to actually calculate here, so we had 63 people times by 25, so that's $1,575 that was intaken on this tournament. So in the first little bit here for the prize pooling, 500 plus 250 plus 150 plus 150 plus 75 plus 75, 75, 75, and then 30. How many were at 30? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 480. 1830. And they only gave out 1575 was what he took in. So right there and there, you're already paying out more than you've taken in on this tournament, regardless how much you charge for it. Now, if it was at 79 people, if there was 79 people, I think that would have worked out, right? So that's the biggest draw that I'm seeing here. Yeah, at 79 people, it would have been 1975, which actually would have paid out properly. So the way the prize structure here was working on their prize pools was incorrect. They did this very poorly, and unfortunately, you can see on this list, it has compounded. This money doesn't exist. This money has already been paid out. He has no money left. At this point, if he's doing a tournament, he is taking in the money, and that money is gone. It's already gone. You can't take in more money than you can pay out. Plain and simple. That's how it works. And these are some big lists. There is a lot of people that are owed money here, and like they said, with the total that we've got here, the total of $108,000, right, and only for about approximately 45,000 has been paid out. So we're looking at close to $60,000 not being paid. That money was never there, right? The next thing here would be to add up what's being costed here. Unfortunately, you can't add up what's been totally paid out because everyone in white has not responded to that. So plain and simple, if you have not been paid out on this, do make contact with Inside Esports because you are owed money. At this point, if you are owed probably $1,000, I'm seeing some names here not being paid out, and their names are repeating on this list, I would be talking to a lawyer at this point, because to me, things have not been paid out. Wizards of the Coast obviously is going to get involved in this. They're going to have to investigate this. And plain and simple, I don't know where to turn for this. And I'm just laying it all out there for what I've been seeing. And this is a insane situation here. Sandy Dog MTG, they're one of the other people that are listed in there. They're listed in almost every tournament. This statement says nothing about how Tier 1 is going to take responsibility for their part in what has happened. Yeah, plain and simple. Tier 1 Games did respond to them saying, if you can get MTG Melee on board with matching me, I would happily donate the 5% I got back to the community. No, that's not how this works. MTG Melee has nothing to do with this. They are just a third-party tournament event-like organizer that just does matching. The fees that they're taking are on entry fees that would have been paid at the time of entry, and that means that you were also taking more than above the total maximum entry fee, unless you had written permission from Wizards of the Coast. But I don't see that happening in this case. It quite simply, this is what goes wrong when you consider doing tournaments from January 9th to July 31st and the amount that has gone there. So what can we do here? What have we learned here? Well, first off, if you see a tournament that's out there and you see the prize pool is this $5,000 stuff, use your smarts and don't enter the tournament unless you're seeing it fill up. You're seeing a lot of people jump in there. I've promoted a couple of these tournaments on MTG Melee in the past. Just seeing, like, I'm shocked at how much is being paid out on some of these tournaments, but then people don't enter into them. There's supposedly millions of people playing MTG Arena, and this site MTG Melee runs a lot of free tournaments, and it is a great way to build your skills and stuff like that. So I don't see MTG Melee being any part of this situation. They literally are just a third party part of it. Now, with the Channel Fireball thing, them Tier 1 Games being part of the marketplace that was just launched on Channel Fireball, yeah, it's kind of a buyer beware. I don't think yelling and screeching at Channel Fireball should be done here. I don't think it's a big deal in that sense. They are still an LGS. He's still a reputable business, but I believe Tier 1 Games does need to step forward here and take some responsibility here, because I think this comes down to a big lawsuit. I think this will be a class action lawsuit, and the people that are going to get dinged on this will be Inside Esports and Tier 1 Games. If you want to get ahead of this and not push it to the side, saying it's all Inside Esports' stuff is not going to resolve any of this. Tier 1 Games, your name was on these tournaments when they were posted, and you didn't say nothing for 6 months. Your name is associated with this as much as Inside Esports. Inside Esports, yes, was the organizer of this, but you were the sanctioning store. And unfortunately, at this point, I believe you're going to get burned with a lot of this. And I don't know where this goes from here. Wizards of the Coast, if you've watched this far, thank you for watching. I'm just trying to make my name out there for YouTube. So guys, do like and subscribe. Share this one out there, because this is going to be a big story breaking. You're probably going to see other YouTubers pick this up after I'm done reporting with this one, because I can tell you this is a giant story of just how a tournament organization doesn't pay forward properly with their funds. They're promising monies, the money's not there, they're not getting enough people entering into these, and now you're seeing big cash prizes. So anything that, for me, when I see a cash prize tournament, I generally do not enter them when it comes to Magic the Gathering. If I'm doing a cash prize tournament, I'm going to go to a casino and play some Texas Hold'em, because that I know better than playing the luck of the cards with Magic the Gathering, paper or arena. And you're dealing with the arena, which in itself has its own insights. And Wizards of the Coast holds their own $2,000 qualifier, which you don't need to actually pay anything to enter. Yes, you pay in gems. You can buy gems and enter that way, but you can still earn them in-game and get to that $2,000 for free. So there is a free method to that, where this in particular was straight up You pay this entry fee. You're being promised a prize pool that doesn't exist. And seeing this was a startup that seemed to have gone back in January, I wouldn't have put very much behind this, because to me, the money's not there. The money's come and gone. The money that was owed is not there. There is no money you can even get out of this. So at this point, you can either lawyer up, do the class action lawsuit, and try and go after them, but I don't think it's going to be worth it, because the money's still not going to be there, and a lot of people are probably going to end up spending a lot more money trying to fight this thing, trying to get money that was owed for prizing that isn't existent. Anyway, guys, this is your proud Canadian Phoenix signing off. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This, I saw this fold out in front of me. I had to talk about it to you guys because this is a pretty insane story. So leave your comments down below as well. And don't forget, share this out, because it's something else. That is for sure. Thank you for watching. Have yourselves a great day.